All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, today's the first day of spring practice for us, so I figured I'd go through a couple things defensively that we're looking at, and generally for me, how I feel about the spring, the things that I try to do in the spring, what I'm trying to accomplish in the spring, and then I'll do one eventually on offense, and we'll talk about that. So make sure you check out some of our sponsors, Dome Hats, the headwear partner of Play Fast Football and the school that I'm currently at. This is one of our high school hats here with our logo on the front. This happens to be our all gray one. All right, swords up, all right, which is our motto on the back, Dome logo in white on the side. Button on the top is black, completely customizable. Change the style of the hat, change the colors, change the panels, change anything you want on the hat. All right, every hat has a story. Make sure you let Dome help you tell your hat story. Check out their online custom hat builder. It's a completely unique feature that lets you design your own hat. Baker Sporting Goods, shirts like this that I'm going to wear at practice today. Our spirit packs for our players, our sideline coaches gear, our uniforms are distributed by Baker Sporting Goods. Anytime we do anything for fans or sometimes teachers or parents or even players online, we use Baker for our online team store. So make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Just Play Football, which is the play diagramming tool that I use anytime we're going to do anything playbook wise. I am not at our school we don't hand out a playbook, but I will sometimes use our Just Play stuff in meetings to show to the kids different diagrams. So anytime I'm drawing diagrams, I'm always going to use Just Play. It's a more powerful presentation. You can quiz your players on your playbook, upcoming game plans, different things, so you can gain a better understanding of your players' knowledge of your playbook or what your installs are and your game plan coming up. I've been burned in the past giving out playbooks. Kids transfer, they go to other places, so I don't physically hand out a playbook, but anytime I diagram anything, it's going to be using Just Play. All right, it's the easiest for me and the best play drawing diagram tool. So if I'm going to speak at a clinic, do a webinar, or hold a meeting where I have to have a diagram on a computer, it's always going to be Just Play for me. Game Strat, sideline replay system we use. If you're looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, make sure you check out Game Strat. We have had zero problems with the equipment. It's usually some type of user error. It's easy to use. It's friendly. Every year they're updating and adding more things to it to make it a better product. So I highly recommend checking out Game Strat for sideline replay. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. You can get thousands of reps in the off season or even during the season. You can hook one up in your weight room. You can hook them up outside if you can find a place to put them. You can put 2x4s and cement them into the ground and hook them up there. So great way to work on striking year-round, elbows in, thumbs up, where your eyes need to be, coming out of a stance with the explosion in your hips and all the things that you would need to do to properly strike. You can do it DifferenceUSA, so make sure you check them out. HighandTight ball security training aid that we'll use with some of our skilled players. You have to hold the ball in the proper position, not only with the position, but the pressure, all the points of pressure have to be correct. Each panel in the football has a sensor. All the panels have to be held correctly, and the pressure has to be proper, otherwise you won't hear the beep. If you don't hear the beep, you're doing something wrong. As soon as you hear that beep, that's where the football is locked in and should stay. So we'll do it with our skills in bag drills, agility drills, different things like that, so that as they go through the drill, they need to hear the beep the whole time. If they lose the beep, that lets them know that while they're running, doing a drill, or doing something, that either the wrist is getting down low, the pressure's coming off the rib cage, the elbow's out, all right, whatever the problem is, they know right away. As soon as they lose the beep, they're not holding the ball high and tight. So make sure you check out HighandTight. You hear us getting better. StandPerfect, which is a product we started using. It's a training aid for stances. There's the pro version that we use. Looks like a horseshoe, and it's got on the bottom of it. It looks like a molded cleat in a way on the bottom, so that when you're using it on grass, when you put it down, you can push it down into the grass so it's not going to go anywhere. And then it's shaped in a horseshoe for kids with when you start to work with high school kids or older kids that have bigger feet. And what happens is you can now do drills so that if you're moving forward, you can have the horseshoe turned where the opening is in the front. You put them down in the exact stance that you want for your receivers, your linemen, whatever it may be, and now they can get in that stance and come out of it, do drills, get offs, whatever drills you want to do, getting out of the StandPerfect. And then when we use them for DBs or safeties, now you can just turn the horseshoe the other way, so now they can get in the stance, put their feet where they need them. You can line them up and you can eliminate all the buzzwords of heel toe, instep, 4 inches back, move your foot over. You don't have to get behind a kid and tap his foot in or out. You put him down the exact stance you want. Every kid that gets up puts his feet exactly where you want them, and now you get them in a good stance. You save time, you save effort. Baseball, softball, golf, football, there's so many different ways to use StandPerfect. Make sure you check them out at StandPerfect.com. So, I don't know how much different it is than anybody else. I have a certain way that I like to attack the spring and things that I like to do in the spring. So for me, the first thing that I'm always going to do is we're going to work on our base defense, and we're going to work on it versus 2x2, 3x1, a pro set, and then some type of nub set on the backside, whether it's 1 back or 2 back, so that we can see all the different things for me that I think we need to see in our quarters toolbox. So we'll get 2x2 so we can handle a 2 remove to make that check. We'll see a 3 receiver open side so that we can deal with making what we think our base 3x1 check is. We'll go to a pro set so that we can now see an attached tight end and a flanker so that we have to play quarters, all right, in our normal base defense, all right, and then that has a single side on the back, so now we can make whatever single side adjustments we want in the spring, however many we're going to carry. And then something that's got a nub on the backside, whether it's 3x1 with a nub or twins 2 back with a nub, something that has a nub on the backside so that we can teach our guys how to handle nub sets within our base system of coverages, within our base split field system of coverages, how we handle splitting the formation right down the middle, split the formation down where the ball is. This side has a certain number of receivers. This side has a certain number of receivers. Where's the free safety going to go? How many receivers are on your side? What's the picture? 2 receivers, are they removed? Are they attached? Is it a tight end and a flanker? Is it 2 split receivers removed? Make your quarters adjustments. 3 receivers removed. Make your quarters adjustments. 3x1 with a tight end. I won't always cover in the spring unless I know for a fact that we see teams that do it. So we won't always go to 3x1 with a tight end. We'll almost always go 3x1 open, simply because in where I am and in the area I'm in the last 8-10 years, 3x1 open 10 personnel, and then 3x1 closed sometimes with a nub on the backside. That's something we're going to see all the time. 3x1 tray with a tight end on the trip side attached as part of the 3-man surface. We don't always see that, so that's something that we kind of pick and choose when we want to defend that. All right, but those are things that within our quarters toolbox, we've got to be able to see. We've got to be able to handle 2 remove. We've got to be able to handle trips. Got to be able to handle a 2-back pro set. Got to be able to handle some type of nub set. So in the spring, those are the things in the formations that we want to make sure, all right, that we can get aligned to. Next thing we'll do is get 2 or 3 of our D-line stunts in, usually 1 from the weak side with the 2 tech and the 5 tech, and then 1 or 2 from the strong side with the 3 tech and the 5 tech, just so that we can get those guys used to movement, canceling gaps, get the linebackers behind them, used to seeing what gaps are going to get canceled out. So certain runs that we're going to fit in base, is that going to change the fit a little bit if we are canceling gaps or moving people? Gets the D-line used to moving at least 1 gap, learning how to take the steps to move 1 gap, stay square, the leverage. Now the D-line coach can do that and get off, so they can do drills where they are 1 gap moving inside, and then if we have any 2 gap moves, now the D-line can work on the steps, the fundamentals, the techniques for 2 gap moves. So that'll go in usually next. All right, some type of, depending on, we have 19 practices and we split practice, so we're on offense and defense pretty much every day. 75% of one day. So today for us is 75% defense, 25% offense. So by week 1, all 2 or 3 of those stunts will be in. And that's my goal, is to get all those stunts in, the 2 or 3 that we're using in week 1. Then we're always going to go to some type of man coverage or 1 rat, what most people would call 1 rat. It's robber coverage for me, but it's basically man coverage with safeties or linebackers becoming a low hole rat with a high hole post player. It's a way for us to close the middle of the field, but it also gets our kids into situations where they have to play man. So now we can teach man to the corners, we can teach press man, we can teach off or catch man to the safeties, or anybody playing a guy in the slot. We can teach our linebackers how to play man on backs. So I feel like it's always quintessential or a must to teach guys somewhere along the line man coverage skills in the spring. So we'll put in at least 1 cut coverage or 1 rat, for me, robber deal, that we have to play, so that we can get used to playing man with the corners, playing man with the safeties, playing man with the linebackers. And then within the 1 rat deal, figuring out based on formation, 1 back, 2 back, who's the low hole player, who's the high hole player, who's going to cut. If it's one back, then it's going to be one of the linebackers going to end up being the low hole player. If it's two back, one of the safeties going to end up being the low hole player. So getting all those things taught within a man setting, being able to teach man-to-man skills, and it's a coverage we're going to carry all the time. So I always want to get that in the spring. All right, and then I usually try to get to a 3/3 pressure. All right, so I usually, depending on the year, sometimes that'll be at least one 5-man pressure, and sometimes it'll be maybe 4-2, some type of 2 deep trap coverage off our 2 read look, or it'll be 3/3, simply so that we can start to teach vision and break drops. We do not, for us, we are not your typical 3/3 team. We are not your typical fire zone team, because we don't play any real match carry deliver with our underneath guys in our quarters toolbox. I feel like the pattern read, pattern match is a little bit different. So when we go to 3/3 deep, we do it from more of a vision and break scenario. And then we also teach, in the spring, we also teach 3/2, which is 6-man hot pressure, where we only have 2 underneath vision and break players. So what we do is we teach both of them so that we understand it's vision and break. It's the same. We just add a middle vision and break player off of number 3, however you want to look at it. But the reason we don't carry normal match carry deliver stuff is we don't have any pattern matches where we really are playing match carry deliver. So if we were a Rip Liz team or a pattern match team along those premises where we would match carry deliver, we would then transfer over into 3/3 deep, and we would match carry deliver our 3/3 deep, because there's direct carryover, there's direct correlation. We don't play Rip Liz match. We play more of a quarters toolbox, so our pattern matches or our pattern reads are a little bit different, and there's not a lot of match carry deliver principles. So when I go to 3/3 deep, for me it's more of a vision and break deal, and then we build it off of our 3/2 6-man pressure. So we'll have a 5-man pressure that's 3 under with 3 vision and break players, and then we'll have a 6-man pressure that's 2 under, all right, with 2 vision and break players. And then what we'll do is we'll discuss to our guys where we can be a little bit safer in the passing game with that extra hook player in the middle, kind of like if you were a Rip Liz match team and you teach your match carry deliver and there's 2 inside hook players, when you go to a zone pressure, one of the ways Coach Saban talks about it all the time is it's the same match carry deliver principles, but you only have 1 hook player instead of 2 inside hook players. So there are some slight nuances or changes from that play, but it carries over directly, and generically speaking, it is easy to go from one to the other. For us, it's not as easy of a carryover. So our carryover goes from 2 vision and break players to 3 vision and break players, playing hot corners and then a hot middle of the field player. That's the better carryover for us, so that's why we choose to go 5-man pressure, 3/3 with vision and break, 6-man pressure, 3/2 with vision and break players there. All right. We're always going to defend our offense and team the first 2 weeks. I don't care who we're playing. I don't care what team we're playing. I don't care what scheme we're defending. We're always going to defend our offense the first 2 weeks. And one of the main reasons for that is I think we get more reps. I think we get more reps in our defense, and we get more reps in practice if we are defending our own stuff. We do the same thing with our offense. We only work against our defense for the first 2 weeks, because if I can eliminate as many scout cards as possible. Now, day 1 today, not everybody has been here in the offseason working through some of our install stuff in our 7-on-7 groups. If some of those guys haven't been here, we have to carry cards out there. But our cards are basically going to be our offense. So on our defensive period today, when we have an alignment period and then we have a walkthrough looking at run fit period, because there's no body-on-body contact right now, so we got to use bags and some different things. So really today is more of a walkthrough, talk about reads, where you're looking, where your eyes should be, how we fit each coverage, how many players are in the run fit, where's our help coming from, where are we trying to send the ball to. It's more of a walkthrough and kind of a teaching setting, and we do it with cards today, but the cards that we have are drawn up are our offensive plays that we are going to have installed by the end of week 1. So we're going to defend power, we're going to defend power, we're going to defend counter, we're going to defend RPOs. So I draw those as scout cards only because our offense is not fully installed yet. All right, and then eventually when our offense is fully installed, we feel like without cards, if our offense can get up and rep all of our plays quickly, we get more reps. And then when we are on offense, if our defense can line up and just play our base defense, we feel like we're going to get more reps. When we get into week 3, that's when we'll start to worry about our opponent. So the last week and a half, the last, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 practices of the spring, we'll start looking at our opponent and what they're going to line up in on offense and defense and start kind of game planning a little bit that way. But the game plan part of it is very small. We're really not worried as much. For me, I'm not worried as much about the result of the spring game. I'm worried about the result of our team. I'm worried about our process, our operation, finding kids that can play, finding the right position for kids to play, teaching the techniques and fundamentals that we need. I'm not really going to ever get caught up in the scheme of a spring game to think that I need to have certain answers because another team is doing certain things. That's not really, for me, where the spring work should be done. All right, it's not about having all the answers to defend what the opponent does. It's about your team getting better. It's about you taking care of you. It's about you working on the things. For us this year, a big thing is going to be making sure the kids understand where we are at practice, the tempos of the practice, where we need to be, how to get lined up, how to go through meetings, how to go through flex. You know, doing all the little things that we kind of lost last year during the pandemic. Losing a spring and losing a summer. So for us, it's about getting back to those things and taking care of our school first and really game planning late and putting together a game plan so that our kids can function in a game setting. But the game plan is not really about all out attacking someone like you would during the regular season. So that's how I go about the spring. Today's our first day. We'll see how it goes. All right, make sure you turn your notifications on. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on. You know, every time I do a video or I go live, you'll get that notification. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like the video or do not like the video. Always leave a comment. Every comment I see, I try to respond to. If it's a comment about a video and I can do that video justice, then I will try and do a video on it. If you're starting spring football today in the state of Florida like we are, good luck to you. Stay healthy. Work hard. Shout out to some of the other weightlifting teams in Clay County. Keystone Heights, state champion. Fleming Island, state champion in 3A. Keystone in 1A. Ridgeview finished 3rd in 2A. Really good showing for weightlifting and the types of kids we have in Clay County. So shout out to those schools. Hats off to those schools. They did a phenomenal job. 2 out of 3 classifications. The state champions were from the county that I am working in. So I'm proud to be in that county. Hats off to those programs. Great job to those coaches and those players and weightlifters at those schools. Good luck to them if they're football players, and congrats to all the individual state champions. A couple at Keystone, Ridgeview, Fleming. Congrats to all those guys. All right, guys, as always, I appreciate everything you do for me. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast, and I'll catch you guys next time.